Just going to give it a minute to make sure the stream comes up. There it is. Looks good. Looks like it's working all right. How's the sound? Why can't I hear anything? I do have my wireless headphones in, so I'm guessing the sound just isn't coming through. My other headphones broke, and technology sucks, so who knows if you guys are hearing this. Hopefully there's a playback. I guess we just end this, right? Or we just end the headphones, because they're not fucking working anyway. So take those out, and hopefully... Yep. Alright, so it dropped the sound. That's fucking weird. So you guys are going to hear an echo for a second, but just give me 1 sec. I want to try. OBS has crashed. Is this working now? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Apparently, the headphones crash OBS. So I guess I'm not going to be able to hear myself, and we'll just talk. So if the sound is messed up, you're going to have to tell me. Because my new headphones won't be here until later. Because I've ordered my Philips headphones that I always use. They're the only headphones that ever work for my stupid head. Lovely. All right. Well, let's just do it. So we got a couple hands to review from yesterday. Pretty good day yesterday. Better than doubled my entries, which is always nice. It was one of those ones where did well, played well, and then near the end kind of went card dead. No real bad beats, I don't think. Maybe one, but pretty consistent play, and yeah. So anytime you double your money, man, good amount. So I had like $48 out there, right? I entered for like 48 and cashed and made 59. So, well, plus the 48. So I profited 59. So I'll take it all day long, but let's just get to this. First hand. This was the first hand I played yesterday, and this very awesome thing happened. So there's a raise. Of course, we defend. It's a three-way pot. We flop a gut shot straight flush. Obviously, we are not going anywhere. It goes check, check, player bets. I gotta fix this thing. Look at this. Man, why is this all messed up? Okay. So it goes check, check, player bets. Obviously, this is just a spot to call. We could check raise, but I mean, as you can see, we have 95 blinds. This is the first hand of the tournament. So there's really no point in raising here. We'd love to get the money in, honestly, because it's so early, but that's irresponsible in gambling, but I'd still do it. Because if I'm up against one pair, I have so many fucking outs, it's insanity. The turn comes off, and I bink the world for the straight flush. So this is what is known as the mortal nuts. There is literally no card that will come on the river that can change my hand from being the best hand. And, it's one of the rare instances in poker that makes life worth living. There is no chance he can beat me. He can make quads here. He cannot beat me. So what do you do with this exceptionally scary board? Well, you check. Player bets again, and he bets kind of tellingly. This bet to me is either nothing, a pure bluff, or a really good hand, like a set or better. Now, I want to say he has a flush, but it's kind of unlikely. He can have the king, queen of spades, of course. That makes a lot of sense. any suited queen of spades, queen jack, queen 10, all those can be out there, and betting on that flop would be a good idea, because if the flop went down with one pair of queens and a spade draw, that's fine. But you also would want to build the pot, and we're at the first hand of the tournament and first hand of the day, that this bet to me tells me this player liked what he had, and sometimes that's the only vibe you need. So I go ahead and make a raise, and it's a big fucking raise. Right now, I don't expect all the money to go in here if he has something he likes, because he can have a set. Really, I was feeling like he had something strong, like a set, of threes or fours, maybe even queens, honestly. Some people will bet that on the flush draw flop, but I don't think that a set of queens even gets it in here after getting check raised in the turn because of 5-6, ace-5, and of course the spades. So he does call. The river comes off an 8. Didn't pair the board. I was kind of bummed about that, but we have to bet. So I just decided to bet enough that it looked like I was going for a value bet. And of course it worked out that the player did jam a lamb. We snap call, and my man had the queen of spades flush. Interesting thing to note here. If you're taking straight flushes out, this is the third nut, right? So can I not have every suited ace and every suited king? So this guy overplayed it, but fun little result for us. And I think the betting really did it, because betting the river like that, it doesn't look like we can withstand a raise. It looks like we're going for value and we're going to raise fold. What's up? How'd you finish last night in that last tourney you were deep in? In the last one I was deep in, I believe that was the 4K 440. I ended up going out, I don't have it written here, for like $19. It was something like 27th place or something. It was like, no, it was, we were forehand, we were 4 tables left, so 32. I made the pay jump. So yeah, 27th place approximately, somewhere in there. It was a pretty good result. I could look it up right now to make sure that that's correct, but I think 27th or 26th, somewhere in there. I wanted to say it was in the 36 range, but I don't think it was. Somewhere in the high 20s. But so yeah, it was a good little bumper. Made 4x our buy-in on that one. How you doing, Chuck? Going good. If the sound is weird, I'm sorry, man. I don't have my headphones in, so I can't hear it to adjust it, which I do during stream. So if it sounds a little weird, just say so. Got you good run. Fell asleep watching. Yeah, man. Towards the end there, it was kind of boring. It was a lot of push-fold, which, happens in a lot of tournaments, but it sucks when you only have one of them going that's like that. So I get it. Plus, it was late for you, right? Let's go on to the next one. Jack 10 ball. In the big blind, we see a raise. This is reasonable, but honestly, he should still be bidding bigger at this point in the tournament. But 2 big blinds, fine, we defend. Make the open-ender. Player goes ahead and bets. Look at this little micro bet. This means nothing. This to me tells me I'm betting if you don't have anything, you can fold. Oh, sounds good? Cool. And anytime I see this bet, I typically check raise it, but because of the ace, I didn't really want to do that. So I just floated this. I'm obviously on the draw. 3 on the turn, it goes check, check. And this is a very standard spot on the river. We go ahead and bet. Now, his brain's going to tell him, well, this guy doesn't have an ace all that often. That's true. But I know that. So I could be betting a 9 here. And this bet is literally not a bet I would ever make. It's a little over half pot. It looks like I'm trying to get value. So I'm getting value from a 9 or an ace. And he just never has anything. So the float and check, check call, check, bet, check call, check call, check, bet, fold is a pattern you're going to see a lot. It's very common. And here's the thing, though. On this flop, if you had an ace here and you wanted to protect it, if you bet 4 big blinds, I fold. That's all there is to it. Even with a straight draw, I fold. I only have 33 blinds, right? This bet, this is a scaredy bet. Don't do that. It's fucking pussy move, and it gives away the strength of your hand. 9 deuce suited. Fun one. You see a min raise on the button. This player should definitely be raising more. Look at this. This is that other tournament where I've doubled up. He's got 75 blinds. This one's got 90. Why are you not making it 3.5x? You're on the button, right? And this is the start of the tournament. This is not where you bet 2 big blinds. Your minimum here should be 3 big blinds with all these stacks as deep as they are. So, because you're just all you're doing is building a pot that's never going to get a fold. And somebody like me is going to take advantage of everything. So, we get a 9 on the flop. He now bets stupidly small again. Like, this is not the spot to do this. We go ahead and call. He goes ahead and bets. I make the call. This bet is nothing. This is the half pot bet. This means nothing. This bet is not defined. This is a bad bluff or a draw. And I beat those. So I call. The river comes off and I decide to check. He bets one more time and look again. Half pot. This means nothing. I call. My man rolls over. The draw that got busted. I even said in game, this is a draw. It's a draw or nothing. This is a weak bet. If at any point, right, he made the wrong bet pre-flop, but if on the flop he bets something like trying to say he has a queen, right, and he bets 4 blinds here, and I call it, let's say. Now that puts, what does that put? 4, 8. It puts 15 blinds in the pot, right? The turn comes off a 3 and I check. And he bets it with 15 blinds in the pot. If he goes ahead and bets 10, am I calling? Am I ever calling with a 9? I just have to have a soul read that he has 10 jack. No, I'm going to fold. Like, I took this card off because the first bet could be bullshit. But when you bet again, I just fold here. But this bet means nothing. This bet means nothing. And they're just easy calls. Plus, I have a mountain of chips. Why are you trying to bet me out betting small? This is a value play, and you never have a value play raising the way you did pre-flop and betting on the flop. You never have a queen. So my 9 is good, I'd say here about 70% of the time. As a matter of fact, let's go back one here. Yeah, 71% of the time versus the deck right here. Right? Fun how you learn that stuff. Aces. Why are we reviewing aces? I make it 3 big blinds. I get a call. Oh, I remember this hand. Yeah. I decide to go ahead and bet right at it. Now, look what I'm doing. This is the half pot bet. That means nothing. I'm doing it to get called. But better yet, I get raised, right? This player has very few blinds. I have very many blinds. I could be being seen as getting bullied here or being a bully here. So I make what I pretend to make what I call the embarrassment call, right? The embarrassment call where it's like, I raise pre-flop, I bet on the flop, ooh, I got raised. Well, I can't fold yet, because then everybody will know I'm an idiot. So I'm going to call and then check fold the turn, and it looks like I made a good decision. You see this all the time. I put the note e-call on players who do this, who just like raise pre-flop, don't really care about the board texture, bet the flop, and then you raise them, and then they call, and then on the turn you just lead out, and they just make the fold because it's an embarrassment call. It's a saving face call on the flop, right? It just usually means so much weakness, but I make it because I'm very strong. And there is a small chance I'm up against a 7, but in all honesty, when I get check raised here, I just expect to be up against a draw, 5-4, 5-8, 8-9. 8-9 is great because now the 9 hits, you know what I'm saying? So I decide to check because, hey man, you took the lead. There's about a pot-sized bet in the middle for you. So what are you going to do? He's going to jam all in, and we did call it in game. And it didn't need the ace. He had 5-6, so he had a gut shot. He made a pair on the flop. This check raise isn't bad, but it's definitely overplayed once we call him. He could have gone check on the turn, right? If I check it on the turn, he can check it back and see if he makes the straight on the river or gets another 6 or what happens. When the river comes an ace, in this exact instance, I'm going to check because I have the world. But he can then bluff me. He can try to bluff me. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't have exactly aces or a 7 here, like I need probably to make that embarrassment call and do that, I need to have probably, a good ace here. But he can jam the river and get many more folds out of it when he just checks the turn. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks like he just nutted up with 5-8 or something. Or he could have even had 7-9 and just totally nutted up the turn. But as it was, he was bluffing at the wrong hand and just had aces. Let's see. See a min raise out of first. You know, this player has 50 blinds. He should still be raising bigger. At this stage of the tournament, we're not super deep, so he should be making it 2.5 here. I don't stop making it 2.5 until very late in the tournament. Kind of near the bubble is when I start adjusting my raise sizes, because you're so close to the bubble that now your bets mean more. But it kind of depends on the structure of the tournament. So we defend, and we make a queen. That's pretty good. Our friend here goes ahead and bets, and look at that bet. 275 into 550. That's half pot. Means nothing. So we call it. Check the turn. Now he bets big, which I guess is a better decision. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think if you had a queen here, you would bet 1/3 pot on the flop, and then this big bet on the turn. This bet just does not seem correct. As a matter of fact, I want to see what the actual bet is. Yeah, it's a nice round number here. So I kind of don't really trust those much, you know, because it's too calculated. So I go ahead and ram-a-lam-a jam, and we get a call, which is hilarious, from pocket aces. So this is the one scenario where I'm kind of screwed, and everything he did makes sense. I got lucky on the river, but check it out. So he makes a min open pre-flop, and of course I defend, right? He bets half pot on the flop. That bet means nothing, but I said this is the bet I use when I want to get called, right? So now he's coming from that perspective. Now the 8 on the turn puts 2 flush draws out there, and he overplays the aces. He should be worried about the flush draw, but he shouldn't be betting this much. To charge me for the flush draw on one card, if I have only 9 outs, right, with just the flush draw, you only have to bet enough to price me out 18% of the time. So he can actually bet about 6 or 7 blinds here, and we go to the river, right? Because I don't know if I'm check raising 6 or 7 blinds, because I kind of have kicker issues. But when he bets this big, well, now if I don't have anything, I just fold. And he wasted his aces, right? If I have a flush draw, I fold, right? It all goes to shit. If I have like no pair, if I had 9-10, if I had 10 jack, you know, I just fold. It all goes to crap. If I have an 8, which I can very reasonably have, I'm jamming here every time, because there's no point in letting another card come off. He must have a queen. That's what I'm thinking. Now, it's almost the same thing when I have a queen. This to me just told me a very broad read of he doesn't have a queen. He wants me to fold. I'm correct. He doesn't have a queen. And for some reason with aces, he wants me to fold. Any hand that's going to play on here most of the time, you want to play on. So his bet seems so improper to me that I just jammed it. And plus I knew that if I called, I couldn't fold the river, and I really was not feeling... I wasn't 100% convinced I was beat. And I think I said in game, I don't really know what's going on here. This is very weird. But I'm going to jam, and I think I'm either crushed or I'm crushing. And I decided to jam, and I hit the queen on the river, thank God, because he actually had aces. This is the wrong way to play aces. Pre-flop, if he makes a reasonable raise, this pot is 1 big blind bigger. And then on the flop, he can go ahead and bet. He can either bet 1/3 or he can bet 2/3, and it makes a better impact. And when you have aces on a draw-heavy board, I think you want to make that impact. If you don't get any action, fine. But you don't want to get this 1 blind, and then, like, I could just have an 8, and you just fucked yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or now you've got me committed to the pot in a situation where you don't want that, where I have 10 jack of clubs or diamonds or something, you know? So I think there were some mistakes on this guy's side. Obviously, I made the bigger mistake in-game. Oh, what the hell? Zoom went down. Weird. Hold on. Let me restart. See, I would have heard that if my fucking headphones were working. I'm sorry. Of course, nobody said anything. Can we? Here we go. All right, cool. Yeah, weird. So yeah, so uh, I can't see the preview either. Hang on one sec here. So okay, so yeah, so that's basically that. I think the hand was played poorly on both sides. Only poorly by me because I was exactly up against aces, but I'd say 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I'm good here. Oh, look at that. 83%. 80% of the time I have the best hand here. When this betting structure comes down. This is one of those, 15% of the time when I was up against aces. What are you going to do? But it's not a perfect game, man, and nobody's perfect. I make mistakes too, but I don't really even consider that a mistake because with that betting pattern, I expect to be good, like I said, 80% of the time. So just a weird one. I'm in open, 46 big blinds from under the gun +1. Get a raise here, all in. This is pretty much an easy call. The thing of it is, I have this player behind who has 80 big blinds. This is one where if he had something really good like ace king, ace queen, I believe he would have, or ace king, or jacks, or better, or whatever. I really think he would have 3-bet me. He can definitely have ace queen suited and not fold now, but I don't think a lot of players know that, especially since I am raising from such an early position. So I decided to go ahead and jam it to get him out of the pot. And this just can look like I have ace king. If you have ace queen suited, you're just going to fold it here. And he did fold. And our friend had a pair of eights, and I made the king, which was nice. But I think this is one that I wanted to show because I think this player had the hand that beats me a lot. Like, I think he has ace queen here a lot. And I'm just getting into a dominated situation. But because of my position, because of my positional disadvantage, it raises the strength of my opening range. This hand is in that opening range, but it's at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So I might be at the top. You don't know. That's why it's called a range of hands. So he made a good decision on average. This is just I'm in the bottom 10% of my range where I'm going to do this from this position. So it didn't work out for him. But I definitely think we got him off the best hand here, for sure. At least ace queen, which results don't matter, but we would have lost. And we would have been dominated. That's the real thing, pre-flop. But he could definitely have, all pairs. He could have a pair of nines, right? That'd be fine. But he could also have, what could he have? I guess he could have king jack. That's very possible. That would have beat us. King 10. I think just ace queen is the most common fold that we get here. That does call ace queen suited. Ace queen offsuit I think should 3-bet, but people don't do that enough at this stake. So I like this jam, and I just wanted to put it out there to let you know that sometimes your bad hands play bigger in your correct position. Pocket eights, open and a call. End up with the overpair. And we see a bet here, and this bet is about a quarter of the pot. Into two players, this bet plays bigger, so you can count this as a little stronger than a quarter of the pot. But in all honesty, if I actually have like an overpair here with the draws out here, like look at this, there's a club draw, there's a straight draw, the big blind's in it. You know what I'm saying? It's very possible for somebody to have a 5. So if this is me and I have pocket jacks or queens or something, I think I'm going to bet like 5 blinds. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't want to get just pwned by somebody. Ooh, wait a minute. Why did that happen? Come back. There we go. I just really don't want to get drawn out by somebody. It just seems like a stupid situation where that might happen. Man, I have got to fix so much shit here. Where's the goddamn... Ugh. There it is. All right, cool. So I can't see the playback. It's so weird. So this bet to me is super weak. So I decided to go ahead and raise, and this is to protect my hand because I believe we're up against 2 overcards quite a bit. And this raise has to be big because we're also going to discourage the big blind who can have all the draws to get out of the way. So player does go all in. I decide that I still feel like I'm best here, and we call it off. And our friend here has pocket fivs. Very much so overplayed. In game, I might clip this out of the replay. I did this very quickly. I was just like, oh, that's garbage. and I did it very quickly, and his hand kind of makes sense. But let's see here. Why don't you bet bigger on this flop, man? You have all the equity with pocket fives. You have all the equity. So if you just bet six big blinds here, I can't raise, right? I have to call, and then it gives you a bluffing opportunity on the turn. Like if he bets six and I call it, right? There's 20 in the pot, and I'll have 26 behind, right? And the turn comes off, and it's a 4. There's 20 in the pot, I have 26 behind. He'll have 38 left. There's going to be so much in the fucking pot. Like, just jam. Can I call with pocket 8s on the turn? No. Like, he just totally made me win the hand. He forced me to play perfect. So he played the hand very poorly. Like, his hand had equity but not strength. My hand had strength but not equity. You know what I'm saying? Marginal made hand, best draw. So when these two things go up against each other, you know, the guy who has the actual strength hand is going to win the majority of the time because this motherfucker has to hit. You know, he's got 10 outs twice, but that's 40%. And he overplayed it and just gave me so many chips, and it took me so far in this tournament. It was awesome. Ace King off. We decide to open. Look at my 2.5x big blind or open. We're all very deep. That's what we're supposed to do. See a call on the button from one of these shortest stacks, which is weird. I decided to check the flop because he is so short that bluffing doesn't serve much purpose. Turn comes a 5, and now we decide to bet. And you see my bet is bigger here. It's a 2/3 pot bet. My bet is bigger because he shouldn't have much, but I don't want to incentivize him to call or make a stupid move. He does call, and then on the river, I shouldn't be able to get a fold here, but what calls the turn without jamming? A club draw? Yeah. Probably should jam, but when I bet, he should know I'm not going to fold. So basically my river play here is, well, if he's got a missed draw, he'll fold, and the only thing he has other than a missed draw is a monster like a flopped full house, or flopped set, 3 7s. He could have a 5, sure, but that doesn't fold on the flop, I don't think. And I think it's just more likely that we're up against draws. So you can see I'm 50-50. I'm like 48% against the deck. That's because half the deck is on the draw here, and the other half actually has a pair. We decide to go ahead and rip a dip, and guy folds with 9 blinds left. 9 blinds to win. It would have been, well, 27 plus mine 9 would have been 36 blinds. So he'd have been getting about 4-1 on his money. I don't know what hand you fold here that you got this far, but it's got to be just garbage. So we definitely had the best hand. But there's a world in where he has pocket 6s and took a card off, and then realized, well, I'm up against it, and gave up on the river. That's why I like betting. You give your opponent every chance to make a mistake. It's fun. All right. Went too far ahead. King, queen suited. I like a 3-bet here with the offsuit version, but suited it's just so strong we can absolutely just call. In position, it's pretty awesome. Two overs and a flush draw, backdoor strizzle. It goes ahead and checks to us. This is one where we can just bet. We did just call pre-flop so we can have all pairs. If we had 3-bet pre-flop, I don't like betting here because we might get blown off of our draw. We go ahead and bet big. We do get called out of the small blind, which is the most likely player to have a pair. The original raiser folds. That's always nice. Turn comes off an ace, and now we go ahead and check back because this pair shouldn't like the ace, but I didn't 3-bet pre-flop, so unless I have exactly a suited ace, I really can't bet for strength here. But what suited aces am I calling with that I'm not raising? Ace 6, ace 5. I don't know if they bet on the turn when you hit the ace because you could be definitely up against it. So who knows? And my range is still wide open, right? I can still have a 9 here. I can have 9-10 all day and be like, I don't like that ace. Plus, I got called. I might have kicker problems. You know what I'm saying? I could check it. And the river comes a 9. It's kind of interesting because I don't think players have enough foresight to bet now. So if this player has a 9 here, he should be betting. He should be leading into me, and he should lead pretty big. If I was him in the small blind, I would, if I had a 9, just like 9-10 or something, right? Something great, but not the nuts. If I had a 9, I would lead probably 12 or 13 blinds because I'm looking to get hero called by that flush draw that hit the ace on the turn. And because I have a 9, it's very unlikely my opponent has a 9. What sets am I checking on the turn after betting the flop that have now filled up? None. So really, this is an opportunity for him in the small blind to lead for value and get called very often, except for the exact scenario we're in right now, where I'm bluffing with a flush draw that doesn't have an ace. But he checks. And now I get to make the big bet, which is like, I called it pre-flop, the flop came off, I have 9-10. I bet the 9. I got called in the small blind. The turn comes off an ace. I don't like that ace, so I'm going to check back and take my showdown. But, ooh, I made a 9 on the river. Now I can bet because I have strength to my hand. In reality, I would have kept betting even when the ace hit. But there's a world in which he has the suited ace, so that's not always a great idea, but I think it's strong enough with second pair here on the turn. But this is the way most players play, which is, ooh, now I have a 9, I can bet all day. And I just make a 2/3 pot bet, and it either means nuts or nothing. And this time it meant nothing, but looked like the nuts, didn't it? So, yeah, I love the way this hand played out. The bet, check, bet was working very well. It seems to work well on days where there's more fish. Because, like, you bet the flop, and then you check the turn, and they get in their head, and then you bet the river, and then they're like, I don't know what to do, and then they just fold. And people don't bluff the river enough. And if you know that versus population, meaning all the players out there, the river is an underbluff spot, you should bluff it more because it means they're over folding. So bluff rivers. I mean, it takes some heart, man. You got to get your balls up, but it's definitely the move. So let's see here. Queen 10 suited. Similar scenario. Looks like we're in the same position. We're calling. We've got position again. The blind calls again. This is like Groundhog Day right here. And we flop a great draw again. All right. Gut shot straight. We got a flush draw. We got overcards, man. We got the world here. Look at this. We're 57% versus 2 opponents and the deck. That's pretty crazy. So we go ahead and it gets checked to us. I decide to go ahead and bet because I have a lot of equity. This bet doesn't have to be huge, but this is a bigger than normal bet because there are 2 players in the pot. Betting anywhere over like 60% pot is just huge. You might as well be betting in the full pot here, heads up, because you can see, like, also this player only has 11 blinds. If he jams, I'm never folding, and this player knows that. So it even makes my bet all the more strong. But they just fold. And this is one where, you know, similar. I mean, it was almost the same damn flop, right? What was the flop before? 9-8-4? What was the flop here? 9 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 4 of spades. Same situation. 9 of hearts, 8 of spades, 3 of spades. So it was 1 card different. Same suit, different pip. But interesting. But so that same situation came up twice in a row. And, well, in hands I reviewed, his hands weren't back-to-back in game. But you can see how common it is that having position and keeping your range wide is great. Now, with Queen 10 offsuit, there's a case to be made for 3-betting this pre-flop. You know what I'm saying? Because when flops like this hit and we don't have the draw, we can still bet now that we've 3-bet and take it down. But in this exact scenario, I think this is going to work most of the time on the flop. And it's just a good one to keep in your arsenal. That you can bet here, and this flop bet does have to be bigger. If we bet 1/3 pot, the original raiser is not going to give up 2 overcards in that scenario. But betting bigger is just so much more powerful into 2 players. So a little extra pepper on there, you know what I'm saying? Because there's extra players in the pot, it goes a long way. That bet plays much bigger than it is. Sorry, I'm still waking up. I need another puff here. Easy call on the button. We only have 19 blinds. We were very deep in the tournament at this point. This is one of the bigger tournaments I played yesterday. A lot of players just jam here. This is a call all day. It's only a call because we're in position. Honestly, from the cutoff, I think I might just fold the fucking deuces at 19 big blinds. Like, because I can get 3-bet from behind so much and then just have to fold it. And those 2 big blinds are very precious. But when I decide, when this cutoff just calls and I decide to just call, it's kind of like the table's grateful that I didn't 3-bet because this is such a good spot for me to jam and take it down. But I was still in that weird area. If I had 15 blinds pre-flop, I would have jammed this for sure. But at 19, I like it better as a call because of my positional advantage. Flop comes off a flop that is not great for pocket deuces, but it gets checked to us. And look what we get to do here. We make the larger bet into multiple opponents again. And that went pretty well. And this is the thing. When you call pre-flop, you must realize that your range remains wide. You can have everything. When you 3-bet on the button here, you kind of have big cards, right? Big cards and pairs. But when you just call, I can have 6s, I can have 10s, I can have jacks. I can have ace-jack, I can have king-jack, I can have queen-jack. I can have king-queen, I can have the suited ace of hearts. I can have all these fucking hands that can now bet this flop. So realize that when you're in position, you hold much more power than everybody else because just calling pre-flop, your range is wide. You can have it all. 10-9 offsuit. This is a fun one. I decided to go ahead and raise. We are nearing the soft bubble in this tournament. I think we're down to like 30 players from the bubble. So I'm stealing quite a bit. 50 big blinds, we can do that all day. We do get defended against. That's fine. There's an ace on the flop. Player leads out for what is this, 1/4 pot? This is pretty damn dumb. It's actually less than a quarter pot, I think. I don't know. Let's look at it in big blinds. Or in chips. Yeah, he bet 668 into 2668. What is this? A quarter? This would have been like 750. He's betting less than a quarter pot. So this is like the weakest thing I've ever seen. And he's leading out. And when you see this, a lot of players falsely believe, and it works against a lot of bad players, that if the opening raiser doesn't have an ace, they will fold here. That is incorrect to do if you're the opening raiser. I have position. I have the pre-flop lead. I should have more aces. What fucking aces do you have that like this flop that didn't 3-bet pre-flop? Ace 3 and ace 8? Kind of a long shot, bro. I decided to go ahead and raise right at it. And he folds. And this is just a very standard thing you're going to see. And it's very telling that his bet was... He didn't even click the quarter pot bet option. He went with like 20% pot. It's fucking ridiculously small. So, don't let people take free shots at you. Like, I'm going to raise this bet probably 100% of the time. Just because 95% of the time, it's going to get the fold. The times when it doesn't get the fold, we see a re-raise on the flop. Like, because that's 8-3 or ace-3 or something like that. And we can just fold. But this is literally free money he's giving us. So, don't fall for this. Pocket Izzles. Make it 2 big blinds. We get jammed on. Why am I watching this one? This is the math question. Yeah, so I wanted to run this one. Let's go ahead and run it. Where's the Jonathan Little poker site? Here we go. I need a new one here. Apparently that's not working. Jonathan Little coaching. Here we go. So what I wanted to find out before we open Equilab is we go to the tools section. I want to know what hands he should be jamming. Now, I know it, but I want to illustrate it here. GTO preflop charts. So, our opponent, we are under the gun +1. He is in the cutoff hijack. He's in the low jack, right? So, he has 22 blinds. We'll say 20. His position is the low jack versus a raise from our opponent's position under the gun +1. So we open under the gun +1. He's got 20 big blinds in the low jack. What hands should he be all in with? And I'm going to show you something here. If I can make the thing bigger. So the all-in is this color right here. Ace King offsuit, obviously. King Queen suited, King Jack suited, Queen Jack suited, Jack Jack 10-10, 9-9 only about 66% of the time, 8-8 only about half the time, and Ace King suited about half the time. So that's it. So how do we determine if we should call here? Well, this is what you do when you're away from the game. We're going to open up Equilab. It's a free program. If you don't have it, get it and play with it. PokerStrategy.com, Equilab. This is a great tool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this range that jams on us, okay, and we're going to put it into the range manager. So we're going to go Ace King suited jams, Ace King offsuit, Queen Jack and King Jack suited, Ace Queen offsuit, Queen Jack suited, and players don't know enough to do Queen Jack suited, Jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s. Okay? So this is all the hands that in a perfect world should be jamming against us. We click apply and then put our exact hand in here. Our exact hand is the 8 of clubs and the 8 of spades. Okay? So this entire range versus our exact hand. What's our equity? 42%. Okay? Well, that's great, Josh, but what do you do with that information? Well, I only need to win 42% of the time. So now we go to our most valuable tool in poker, the calculator. And we say, well, this player has 22 big blinds. There is now one in the middle and my 2 big blinds. So that is a total of 24 big blinds. So I will be calling 20 blinds to win 24. So what we do is the total pot will be, our 20 blind call will be 44 blinds, okay? So what percentage of the time do we need to win to make this a profitable call? So we take our 20 big blind call, divided by the total pot after our call, 44, which means 45% of the time we need to win. We actually didn't have the equity. We only had 42%, and in truth, when you see this number, you should kind of go up a few points because we want to be winning a little bit better. So it should be 45%. So we're getting 45%, and we need to win. I'm sorry, I said it backwards. We're getting 45%, and we need 45%. This bet is a call all day. That's what makes it. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking backwards. 42 was here and 45 was there. But this is exactly a correct call. Now it's close, and in these situations, even though the numbers are on my side, I have to sit there and think about it and go, well, I think I should be calling here, you know, and I'm pretty sure it's a coin flip. If it's a coin flip, like he has ace king, let's say, right? Am I willing to lose 20 blinds here to take that flip? And at this stage of the tournament, we weren't in the cash yet, and we weren't really close to the cash, but I was doing very well. You can see the average stack is 16,000. I have 35,000, so we're pretty far away, right? We're in the earlier stages. We're probably around level, well, we're 600, 300, 600. We're around level 8. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not planning on re-entering this tournament because it's not enough blinds. A starting stack here gets what, like 30 blinds or something like that? 33. So this is a game definer, right? If we lose this, we're still okay. We still have 30-something blinds, right? Which is like, you know, whatever that is. I mean, it's still, like, you still have 38 blinds, which is still a lot to work with. Or, yeah. So, which is still, like, 50% above starting stack, is what I was trying to say. But you have to make a decision here. Is it worth the risk versus the reward? Now, the risk, I dropped down to 38 blinds, almost 39 blinds. Can I play well with 39 blinds? Yes, I can. That's a great stack to have. I'm just stacked up at this point. So the downside isn't that bad. What's the upside? I go up to 82 blinds at this point. That's a huge upside. My big stack just gets fucking bigger, and the loss won't really hinder me too much. But the win propels me very far in the tournament on its own. So I decided to go ahead and call. And Where is it? 52. The other factor in this was that this player had just lost with pocket kings to another player who had ace king because he played it wrong. And he didn't 3-bet the guy pre-flop. Or he opened, and this other guy 3-bet, and he just called it on the flop, and the ace hit the flop. And it went check, check. And then on the turn, he just jammed into the guy and gave him half his chips when the guy had ace king. So his tilt factor made his range wider, obviously. He was just like, fuck it. Because he had a big stack and he just lost 40 blinds. So he just fucking went for it. And just was like, fuck this shit. I'm jamming it in. I don't give a shit. So that was also a factor in here. But versus true range, we were doing just fine. I did expect him to be wider. I obviously didn't expect him to be quite this wide because he was just like on a fuck it stack, apparently. But whatever. Some players tilt off. So, king, queen suited. Huge open. Look at the size of this open. We're on the button, right? You would think that a bigger bet would be smart here versus a guy with 84 blinds because you have to make an impact. It's really not. This tells me you're weak. And I said it at the time. We flop a royal flush draw and the guy's got 28 blinds. We're 76% versus the deck. That includes if he has an ace. So we're going to go ahead and just, when he bets again, and again, this is that half pot bet. Like if he had bet 7 blinds here, I kind of have to think about it. I'm probably jamming because I'm running so good and because I have such a mountain of chips that it's worth it. And he's going to be telling me he has 1 pair. But this doesn't even tell me he has 1 pair. This tells me he has nothing. So I just rammed on him, made a raise to 20 big blinds, which is essentially for all his chips, but it kind of looks scarier because we didn't put them all in and he has to do it himself and he just folds. So that raise pre-flop really gave it away. If I had to say something, I would say that he had a hand like, I don't know, 8-9 pre-flop, like, and he was just trying to make a steal. This player made a lot of big bets on the button for no reason. If he had just raised normally, this hand goes down much different, but he didn't. King, queen offsuit on the button. We see an open here. I love that I did this. It's so great that I did this. I 3-bet it. A lot of players don't 3-bet the button enough. I know it seems very elementary to a lot of people, but this was a leak in my game. King, queen suited, call. King, queen offsuit, 3-bet. But the hand's weaker. Why do you do that? Because it's weaker. Because when I make a hand with king, queen suited, I'm making flushes as well as pairs. So my hand becomes marketably stronger and it's better against multiple players. When I make a hand with king, queen offsuit, most of the time I'm just making pairs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making straights as often as I'm making, straights and flushes. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's more equity with the other hand. So making this raise is like I'm reducing the stack to pot ratio. If this guy calls and we hit a king, we're never folding. Ever. We're just going to get it in, even if he jams right in our face on the flop of king 4-5. We're just always calling because we've made the stack to pot ratio so small. And it gets the fold. And I just want to put this one in here. This is more for me for fixing a leak that I've had very recently. It's not a very exciting hand and it seems very basic, but we all have our leaks, and this is one that I had for a very long time. And I just fixed it a couple of, really honestly, I really feel like I've only fixed it maybe in the last month because I really started studying it before I started streaming, and we're like 36 days in, right? So I'm very proud of that. And I'm glad that I was able to recognize it. And I will tag hands in myself to review just to say, hey, good job. So I think that's important too. You don't want to just recognize your mistakes. You want to recognize what you do well because then you can do it more. This builds confidence in this move. Now I'm going to be raising more on the button, So fun. And I believe that's the last hand. Well, I've been going for about 45 minutes. Because of the sound thing, I don't really want to do poker coaching quizzes because I don't have a way for me to hear the sound and for you guys to hear the sound that isn't just my computer playing it and it getting picked up on the microphone. and I tried that with something else before I started the stream, and it just sounds like an echo chamber. So, not really a good idea to do hand quizzes right now. And you know what? It's Monday, and today's my editing day because I've been playing the last couple days. I was gonna play some Hearthstone on stream, but I think people are taking a break from poker today. That's kind of the way it happens. Saturday and Sunday are big days. Um, so yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it, and I'm gonna send you guys off to the America's Card Room stream. Have a good day. I will see you later. New YouTube video out most likely tomorrow, depending on how much editing I get done today. But make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and turn on the notifications. You'll know right when it releases. It'll either be late tonight or early tomorrow, but it's a good one, and it's all about big bets. And of course, always Star Wars theme. So thanks for coming out, guys. I appreciate you going over my hands with me on another profitable Sunday, and we'll see you soon, man.